Welcome Marching Golden Lion members to a new season. This is Mr. Patesnick, and we're going to be doing our first visual talk through of the second run of the opener from last Thursday, July 31st. Please identify yourself on the field here, find yourself, and watch your drill as we go from set to set. I'm going to be using this little cursor thing here to point out some things, what could be better, and make some improvements. We'll try and touch base on different sections, but mostly be concerned with the win since that's the majority of the people on the field. We'll catch as much as I can as far as errors and what draws my eye that needs fixed, okay? So let's start from the beginning, and you won't hear much music. You'll mostly hear just my comments. We'll just be looking at visual, and I'll try and hum a few musical cues when I can to show you where we are. Here's the beginning. And we're going to have horns up here by the baritones, nice and together. That was good. We want to make sure we have a confident step off. So let's watch our step off right in here. Boom. Get that toe up on that first step and hit with the heel every move. Plant, plant. See how this form is not quite correct. It goes back a little bit and then comes forward. Okay, so let's fix that. Baritones and mellows. We're in the 6/8 now. Left, right. I'm guessing these are two holes here. Make sure our feet are together. Left, right. Left and right and left and right. Left and right and left and right. You can see right here, look, there's some feet phasing in these three baritones here. A little better there. You can see the feet phasing there. Plant, plant. Watch how you plant your feet there, this person. Okay, let's take a look at this form there. Let's just make sure that's a nice straight line, that this line is in line with this side here. Obviously, we have a hole here. Let's go on. Here's 12 counts the circle. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, here's the circles, and not quite a circle. There's a huge distortion over here. I'm thinking this person should be over here. So this should be a nice rounded curve around here. We got to really take a look at that this week and fix it. And notice this side, this front side of the circle, this is a little steep here. Okay, you guys probably need to be a little bit more forward to fill out that circle and make it a little bit more rounded. See, this is rounded kind of in the back. Little spacing discrepancy here. Okay, between these two people and here to here. This is a little bit of an issue, but it should be a round circle over here. Obviously, we have a hole and a couple other holes here. A huge distortion here. This does not look like a curve at all, flutes, so we got to make sure we have to know the form, how we're supposed to be. This person should be behind and to the left of this person. This person should be behind and to the left of this person. It should be a nice smooth arc. Let's go on into the shamrock. Okay, and so that's a great hit there, guard, and just make sure I hit the pause button. You can see how people are at different angles and different parts of their particular flag angle. Miss Jenny, I'm sure, will adjust that for you. Watch a little bit more here for a second. Want to make sure, guard, that work is together. All right, let's take a look at the shamrock real quick here. Obviously, we have a hole here. This is the left shamrock leaf. Comes around, in, and back out, and back around. I think we have a hole here, or is that a hole? I'm guessing. And let's look at the spacing here as we go to the next person. Spacing, huge gap here, and then a smaller gap. So I'm guessing this is, I think this is John Scott. Make sure that you're over just a little bit, and that'll make that spacing more even, right? See how you have that big space here, and you're crunched in over here. So make sure you move over a little bit on that set. We come up here to the top leaf. Bass drum comes down a little bit here, out, fills it out. Drums look fairly good there. Again, when we're in uniform, guys, we'll be able to read this shamrock a lot better. This shamrock comes around here on this side on the right leaf, comes out here and in, and then look at how this comes all the way out here. So there's two things. There's something wrong right in here in this shamrock. Either this person needs to be out here, or this person's way too far out and should be in more. So let's check out that distortion and fix that this week. Moving on. Again, do we step off in time, and are we confident? Our toes up. Got some flat feet marching right here. Now, this is the end. We just finished the box set. Look at how this front line is not a straight line. Okay, mellophones aren't in line with each other. 1 second. Okay, so this whole front line is supposed to be 2 behind the blue line, or 12 from the sideline. Okay, this is 10, so 2 back. Okay, so B maybe a little bit too far back. Everyone here has to be 2 behind. It's hard to really tell from this angle, but 2 steps. 1, 2, okay? Make sure that, and this is going to look like a box. Look over here, baritones. Okay, this person is not in the line. Everybody should be 2 off. It's one thing that you should notice, okay? In this drill front line, we talked about it. All right, so let's take here. This person is further than 2 off, should be over a little bit. There's a hole here, I'm hoping. This person should be over to their left a little bit more, to be 2 off, too close to the yard line there. B, make sure you're 2 off. Gabe, you're too close. It's not quite 2. You need to be out a little bit more. Francesca, need to be out 2. All right, on that hit. This person, I think it's Kyle. Be closer, a little bit closer, a little bit more than 2. You're almost pretty much at 3. If this is splitting right here, so make sure you're 2. Everyone in that line should be 2 off. Everybody in the back line should also be 2 off, okay? Not quite 2 almost. A little bit more than 2 there. Almost 2. Okay, so let's be real picky. That has to look like a box, and it's slightly distorted, folks. Let's move on. Next set, going into the big hold set. Plant, plant. Okay, again, are our feet set? Are all of our feet where they need to be? Can we see grass in between our toes? This person's toes are not apart at attention, as you can see this person is, because you can see the white there. Okay, you just look at the feet. This person's toes are together. This person's toes are kind of together. We need to see green in between those feet, like this one. Okay, you can see between the two. That's correct. That is not correct. All right, every time you stop on a hold, you got to be at like your attention. You can tell here too, feet not apart. Okay, you just can't see green or anything in between the toes from this angle. Then you can't see it. And this is what the judges see. This is what the judges see from their angle up in the press box when they'll be judging you at contest on September 27th. Moving on. Is the next step off coming up at G? Is it confident? Let's see. Big step off, confidence. All right, make sure you don't advertise that step off. Make sure that your body faces the audience. Marching technique, this person's feet are out of time with the band. They're not in time with the band right now. Big gap here. This person got to their set early, about 4 counts early, so that caused a distortion. Let's stop right here. Okay, you could tell there where I ended, it was like slightly a beat, like we just did letter I, and I stopped right after that, and people were already starting to move. You cannot anticipate your next move. Okay, 13, 14, 15, 16, you set the diagonal, and then you step off. Okay, some of you are anticipating your next move, and you're bleeding all the moves together. No, you execute each move. Okay, 16 counts, we've been talking about that. Let's take a look at diagonals. This diagonal here is a little too steep. All right, a little too straight. All right, see this? See the angle on this line? Pretty good angle overall here on the diagonal and here as well. We're missing a few people on this line. All right, but this one's too steep. This front person should probably be over more, and this person should probably be over a little bit, make it a little bit steeper. All right, you can see kind of the inconsistencies in the lines here. All right, that diagonal is not consistent. All right, let's keep going here, and let's see what it looks like on the move. You got to keep your step sizes. Okay, stop right here. Check out this second line here. Even though we're missing people here and maybe here and here. Okay, this person right here is not far enough over. They're too far away from this front leader. Okay, which is causing, I think this is John Scott, is causing him to crush in on you. All right, and so John Scott, you got to keep your distance. If that person's that far away, don't push over. But look at that distortion that's causing there. Okay. And then obviously a hole here. We're doing a pretty good job of holding this diagonal with that huge hole there. This line's doing pretty well on this move. Again, this line isn't quite as of a diagonal as this one. Okay, this is a little bit straighter, so we need to have more of an angle of that diagonal. So let's clean that up going forward. You also saw some people in this line right here start the next move early. Here's the flute solo. Check, get these arcs up on the platform, backwards marching. We go back and around here, back and around. Stop right here. As we finish this move, look at the interval spacing. All right, space, a little bit smaller space. Look, these two people are crunched together. This person should probably be over here a little bit more. Okay, this person should probably be over here a little bit more. These 3 guys are crunched together. You see that? So we're going to space that out a little bit more as we're coming around there and know what our spots are and make sure we're using good technique and keeping those spaces open. Moving on. Okay, look at here. I'm guessing there's a hole here. This is right before dun 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 dun. Okay, but look at the inconsistency in the spacing. Here's the two mellows together with this huge gap here, huge gap here. Okay, I'm guessing Gabe has to be out here a little bit more in the drill. So you guys check out your drill coordinates, see where you're supposed to be, and these should end up being 3 nice arcs. Let's see what develops here. Give it a couple more steps. Okay, see right here, you get a little spacing inconsistency here and here. I know those aren't 2 holes. There might be 1, but I don't think there's 2. There's a hole here, obviously. There should be a nice arc. Okay, the furthest people back in an arc like this are the middle people, and everyone else to the outsides is in front of them, right? And so you got some inconsistencies here as this should arc back. This person should be further back probably a little bit and over. All right, should be a nice smooth arc in this second line, nice smooth arc in the first line, and same with the back line. Let's go forward. Get those toes up in that front line, all that stuff. You guys, I gotta see the bottom of your shoes. Step off on that last move with confidence up on the platform. Make yourself look taller. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, let's take a look at the spacing here. Not too bad, but the furthest people forward in the arc should be on the ends. Okay. Let's stop here for a second before we go on. This looks more like a straight line. These 4 people look like they're in a straight line. It should be a curved back field. So this person should be back more, this person should be back more, this person should be back a little bit more. So it should, as we go this way, each person should be behind the person to their right. Okay? Not in a straight line. It should be a nice arc. We got a hole there. Curve this now from here it looks a little bit better. See, from here these guys are in the back, and as we go this way, people are in front, except for this person, a little bit too far towards the sideline, right? This person should be back a little bit in that arc between, it looks like Megan, and I'm not sure who that is. So this person needs to be back in that arc right in between those 2 people more, okay? And then see how that comes out as an arc right there, okay? Keep going. Turning around here, left. We got to make sure we move our feet. We don't just turn around, right? Make sure we step off left, right, left, right, left, right, and you're there. Okay, hopefully you found some things and maybe you saw some other things on here that I did not mention that you picked up on. You can watch the video a few times and just watch yourself and take notes of where you can improve. Thank you very much, and the next video will be Forbidden Friendship.